Take a ride along most of the state's roads in the Baltimore area, and you can literally feel the bumps. This same story is being told all over the state, especially in the Baltimore area, as we have some of the worst traffic in the country to make things worse.
The Baltimore region is ranked as number 2 in metropolitan areas under 3 million people. So obviously if we don't do something now to address this challenge, it's going to get worse.
At a morning news conference held by the Greater Baltimore Committee, a state road research report released by TRIP, a nonprofit national transportation organization, showed some staggering results with some dire consequences.
Not addressing the state's transportation needs will result in an even greater cost to the public.
Some of the highlights, or lowlights if you want to call them, include the following. Right now, there are close to 4 million drivers in Maryland. 41% of the state's major roads and highways are either in poor or mediocre condition, and more than 2/3 of the Baltimore area state roads are in the same shape, costing each driver in the Baltimore area close to $1,800 a year in maintenance and other driver-related costs. And to make matters worse, the state does not appear to have the funds to properly maintain or create new projects to alleviate these problems, such as the Red Line in Baltimore.
By 2017, there will not be enough money in the Transportation Trust Fund to even maintain what we have.
In the meantime, the Greater Baltimore Committee is calling upon lawmakers in Annapolis to act to get funding in place before it's too late.
I will tell you that I think it certainly shows that there is a significant challenge facing us in the state of Maryland, and it's important now more than ever that our elected officials address this challenge.
There's new data on Wyoming's roads, highways, and bridges. It comes from TRIP, a nonprofit transportation organization based in Washington, D.C. The think tank says the state's transportation system needs millions of dollars in work. But where to get the funding? Well, one possibility is that fuel tax we talk about, outlined in House Bill 69. Last week, it passed the House. This week, it's with the Senate. Our story from News Channel 5's Jenna Browder.
The future of Wyoming's roads, highways, and bridges is uncertain.
Our reports are based on gathering the latest data both from state transportation agencies and also federal agencies.
TRIP, a nonprofit think tank, says it all depends on how much the state is willing to spend.
So let's take a look at some of the most critical numbers here. Currently, the state has approximately $110 million annual shortfall in the amount of funding that's needed to keep its major roads, highways, and bridges in the current condition that they're in now.
TRIP says improving them will cost close to $330 million. These are the kinds of roads it's talking about. You can see they do need work. The problem is coming up with the funding. House Bill 69 is one solution. It would generate about $70 million by raising the state's fuel tax from 14 to 24 cents. It passed the House last week. This week, it's in the Senate.
Well, I'm opposed. Most of my constituents back home have voiced their opinions to me, and they are opposed to it.
Senator Ray Peterson says he wants to use some of the state's rainy day cash instead.
And I'd prefer to tap our permanent mineral trust fund, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think the leadership in the House and the Senate and some major legislators down here are not in favor of raiding that fund just yet.
We asked him how he thinks the bill will fare in the Senate. He's not sure, but he knows the state's transportation system needs work. Finding the funding, like all things here, will take compromise. Reporting in Cheyenne, Jenna Browder, CBS News Channel 5.
House Bill 69 has been read and is now in the Senate's Transportation Committee.
FW roads are now on Texas' top 10 list of transit challenges. 2 are on the Dallas side. 1 is I-30 from Loop 12 into downtown Dallas and Central Expressway from the Bush Turnpike down to LBJ. The third bad backup spot, I-35W, North Freeway in Fort Worth from 183 to Highway 81 in the Alliance area. CBS 11's Carol Cavazos takes a look at just how much such backups cost us.
Very, very, very congested. Like, you can barely move.
For some drivers, congested roads are a sinkhole for time wasted sitting in traffic.
Every year, maybe 200 hours. Or more?
All right, maybe 100 hours.
They say the average is about 45. Are you surprised?
I'm surprised.
And bad roads cost the average Texas driver $350 in repairs. every year.
The alignment always goes out, so you're always having to repair your alignment. So it's a lot of repairs.
TRIP, the National Transportation Research Group, says time wasted and cost to repair are sure to go up because money for roads in Texas is going down.
We need at least $1 billion a year more just for maintenance, just to keep things the way they are right now.
The fuel tax is losing money fast as more electric and hybrid cars reach the roads, and that tax helps fund road work. Add to that expected growth.
We need about $3 billion more a year if we're going to start dealing with the growing congestion.
TRIP thinks one solution would be to raise taxes and fees for every driver by $400 a year.
No, the economy is bad.
We'll do what we have to do. If it's going to help us and it saves more time with your family, yeah, that's what we have to do.
The money for roads would come out of a fuel tax, which hasn't been raised since 1991, or possibly a raise in the vehicle registration fees, which have not been raised since 1986. Live in Dallas, Carol Cavazos, CBS 11 News.
A new report calculated the price of clogged roads and named the area's worst offenders.
For you, fourth quarter, not much.
It's around noon around Harrisburg, and commuters can barely get around on I-81.
It's backed up pretty badly today, in fact, and I'm not even sure what the reason is.
Whatever the reason, there is a cost. A D.C. think tank crunched the numbers and found mid-state congestion costs $472 million every year. It called on PA lawmakers to approve additional funding for road improvements.
This report helps the public actually see what is the cost of not doing anything to the transportation system based on their daily commutes.
3 of the most congested commutes are in Lancaster. Rohrerstown Road, Route 222, and Marietta Pike are 1, 2, and 4 on the list. Number 3 is I-81 from Shippensburg to the Dauphin-Lebanon line.
81 going north is always backed up.
Tracy Swingley says it always detains her coworkers.
And I hear people complain about it at work. I mean, more often than not, there's probably somebody late to work every day because of something going on that highway.
283 from the Turnpike into Harrisburg is number 7 on the list. The report says the average commuter here wastes 25 hours a year.
And what would you pay to have more time with your family and have more free time and also burn less fuel?
That very question is causing legislative gridlock. The Senate passed a bill that would raise $2.5 billion to fix roads, but it would also increase prices at the pump and up fees for licenses and registration. House Republicans worry about voter backlash next year if they say yes to that plan.
Well, I think it's inevitable that everything eventually goes up and road maintenance and so on has to be done, so sooner or later we have to pay for it.
And as this report shows, clogged roads already cost you.
The cost of solving the problem is far less than what they're already paying to deal with the problem.
And I-83 coming from Cumberland and York counties into Harrisburg checks in at number 12. We have the complete report and list on our website, abc27.com.